we have been making efforts to see the head of customs, and if possible to see the commissioner for SARS, to enable us do some explanations that these are not harmful products, and moreover, we want guidance from them. Let them explain to us what actually are the stipulations they want, so that we fall in line. We don't want to go against the laws of this country at all. We are going to explain to them, because we know somebody informed us that some of these products, we need to get permits from them. They have to be tested before the permits are granted. We are ready to do that. Those ones they find harmful, we are not going to touch it with the longest spoon.
We are here to work together with the South African authorities to build and grow economy and develop more. And within this, there is a framework of procedure of activities. And one of our assignments as an association is to educate our people on these frameworks. Now, this organization, ABC Import and Export Association, is one of the associations under NECASA, whereby you've heard their plight. Their containers are being seized. Some allegations have been rumored around and televised that they import expired goods. These are one of the stereotypes that are being labeled against Nigerians. And we want to work together with the government, work together with the authorities. As you've heard them request, they want to see the leaders of customs, the commissioner, and the leaders of SARS, so that they can have a better understanding of what are the requirements, what are the procedures, and in this, they will stay within that framework, which they have been doing. Now, when their goods are being seized and nobody knows about it, and it stays for years or months and then got expired, then we're all seeing it on television. It is not a right representation.
A group representing Nigerian food importers to South Africa is raising concerns over issues they are facing at the country's ports. The situation has escalated into a significant crisis as the importers claim that their shipping containers carrying food items have been seized and delayed for extended periods, leading to the spoilage of goods. South African authorities, however, argue that these actions are necessary to protect public health and safety, citing a history of incidents related to similar imports. In recent months, concerns about food safety have come to the forefront after reports surfaced of expired and contaminated goods entering the country in containers of similar origin. These goods, primarily sold in informal retail outlets such as spaza shops, were linked to a tragic wave of food poisoning that claimed the lives of several South African children. Authorities stated that inadequate checks and standards enforcement had previously allowed these dangerous goods to reach local consumers. In response, a stricter regulatory framework was implemented, leading to heightened scrutiny and stringent inspections of all imported goods, particularly those from regions associated with prior violations. The current conflict between Nigerian importers and South African authorities stems from these tightened measures. Importers claim that they are not provided with clear guidance on what is required to release their containers and comply with regulations. They have repeatedly sought meetings with customs officials and the South African Revenue Service Commissioner to clarify the standards and procedures. According to the importers, these delays, coupled with the lack of transparency, have caused their goods to remain at the ports for months, leading to spoilage. However, South African authorities maintain that the delays are primarily due to the failure of importers to meet the stipulated requirements for clearance. This includes the absence of necessary permits, incomplete documentation, and non-compliance with testing protocols for food safety. The situation has become a focal point of tension, with authorities justifying their actions as a necessary response to safeguard public health. They highlight the previous cases of foodborne illnesses that devastated communities, arguing that they cannot afford a repeat of such tragedies. Investigations revealed that contaminated food, initially imported without proper checks, entered the supply chain and was sold in informal markets frequented by economically vulnerable families. The resulting fatalities, particularly among children, led to widespread outrage and a demand for accountability. This tragic episode prompted the government to enforce more rigorous measures at points of entry to ensure that all imported food products meet the required health and safety standards. In this backdrop, importers now find themselves in a difficult position. Many acknowledge receiving information that some of their products may require permits and extensive testing. They express their willingness to comply, but argue that the process is not clearly communicated and that the punitive measures disproportionately affect legitimate businesses. Importers contend that their goods, which they claim are safe and beneficial for the target market, are being unfairly categorized due to the actions of others who previously bypassed regulations. They have also voiced concerns about being unfairly stereotyped, with Nigerian-owned businesses facing additional scrutiny and accusations that further stigmatize their operations. The Nigerian Citizens Association South Africa, NICASA, representing the Nigerian community in the country, has taken up the matter, calling for dialogue and cooperation between importers and the authorities. NICASA has emphasized the importance of educating its members about compliance requirements and working within the legal frameworks established by South African law. The association has also criticized the lack of clarity from officials, stating that the importers are eager to understand the stipulations and rectify any issues to avoid future delays. NICASA stresses that cooperation, rather than confrontation, is key to resolving the situation and preventing further economic losses. South African authorities, on the other hand, reiterate that the seizure and delay of containers are not arbitrary, but rather a result of a comprehensive inspection process designed to filter out non-compliant goods. A SARS spokesperson explained that all imported goods are subject to rigorous checks and must adhere to specific standards set by various government departments. For food products, compliance involves coordination with the Department of Health and the Department of Agriculture to ensure that the goods meet hygiene and safety standards. Non-compliant goods are flagged by a risk engine during the customs declaration process, which uses algorithms to verify the accuracy of documentation and the safety of the items. Authorities further argue that the importers bear responsibility for the situation, as many of the containers in question lack the necessary certifications and fail to meet South African standards. The prolonged delays, which have led to the expiration of goods, are attributed to the failure of importers to adhere to the stipulated procedures in a timely manner. This non-compliance not only results in financial losses for the importers but also reinforces public distrust, given the history of unsafe goods entering the country under similar circumstances. The tragedy of foodborne illnesses linked to contaminated imports continues to loom large over the discourse. For many South Africans, the memory of children succumbing to food poisoning is a sobering reminder of the consequences of lax regulations. The authorities remain resolute in their commitment to enforcing stringent measures, even if it means disrupting trade and causing economic challenges for importers. They emphasize that the safety of consumers, especially vulnerable populations, must take precedence over other considerations. The importers, while acknowledging the gravity of these past incidents, argue that the current measures have been applied indiscriminately, harming legitimate businesses and creating an atmosphere of mistrust. They stress the need for constructive engagement with the authorities to establish clear guidelines and a transparent process that ensures compliance without unnecessary disruptions. Both sides recognize the need for collaboration to resolve the crisis, but the path forward remains fraught with challenges, as the shadow of past tragedies continues to influence present decisions. Thank you for watching and staying informed about this critical issue. What are your thoughts on the stricter import regulations and their impact on businesses and public safety? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who may find it insightful. Stay tuned for more engaging content. Watch the next video now.